Hi, and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Rich Pepperell. Last time we found out a little bit about what flip learning actually is. This time we're going to get our digital hands dirty and actually have a go at producing our own flip learning resources. In this episode we're going to find out what kit you need to produce your flip video, what content can you and should you include in your flip video, and finally, how can we actually produce the content we need. Your first question might be, where am I going to make my flip videos? Well, it might surprise you to know I'm not actually in a professional TV studio at the moment. I'm just in my kitchen. See? However, even though you don't need a professional space, there are a few vital bits of kit you're going to need for making your first flipped video. So what do we need to make our flip video? Well, the first thing is some sort of capture device to capture either the video or the audio that you want to share with your students. I'm using the camera on my phone here, but you could use a camera on your iPad or on your laptop or just a normal digital camera, anything that can capture the content you want to share. A few other things you're going to need as well. You're going to need something to edit your video on. I've got my iPad here that I can use for that. You can also use your laptop for editing stuff as well. I'm also using at the moment, if I just bend you down, you can see that I am using my selfie stick in order that I can get that slightly longer shot and enables me to point my camera in places I can't necessarily go. I've also got a little tripod that I use for my phone if I'm setting up an experiment that I want to film. I've got a stylus that I use with my iPad just for writing and manipulating anything I'm producing on there. And last but not least, the old-fashioned pen and paper for writing the script that I'm going to need to read from when I'm producing my video. The idea of having to write a script every time you want to produce a new video might seem a bit daunting and time consuming, but I do it for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it enables me to focus on the key points I want to get across rather than ad-libbing and going off on all sorts of tangents. And secondly, it enables me to think a bit more about the clarity of my speech. I speak a bit more slowly and clearly so the kids can definitely understand what I'm saying. You'll notice on my script here that I've got all sorts of coloured boxes and scribbles and annotations. They're just little hints and tips to remind me when to drop things in or emphasise certain points or add new props to my video. It might be a bit of an effort writing a script to start with, but it does actually save you a lot of effort in the long term. And you can also go back to your script and reproduce your video if you need to. So we've got our kit and we've written our script, now we're ready to start our video. And when it comes to the start of a video, you know, it's nice to introduce yourself and introduce the topic, but I like to take a little bit of advice from the YouTube channel of Veritasium. The guy there produces some brilliant videos to do with science, it's worth checking out. But also a bit of advice he gives when producing videos is always lead with awesome. Now, I'm not suggesting by any stretch of imagination that my videos are awesome, but I like to do something at the start of each video which, you know, draws the viewer in, makes the kids interested, a little bit different, something they probably wouldn't see in class. So just check out the introductions to a few of my videos to give you some ideas of what you might want to do when you're starting off your first video.
Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell.
Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell.
Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell. Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell. Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell.
Hello and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Mr. Pepperell. Today, I'm going down a gold mine to see if I can strike it rich. But just where did gold and all the other chemical elements come from?
At the moment, I've got a lot of gravitational potential energy because my mass is a long way from the floor. But what happens to that energy when I come down to Earth?
Now, you might not be happy when you're out and about, starting to film yourself and making a fool of yourself in public. So another technique that I like to use is to use a green screen, which sounds, you know, quite impressive and expensive. But I mean, all you need here is a green sheet that you can throw over a background and a free green screen app on your iPad or your tablet. And you can create some pretty, you know, impressive and interesting backdrops for your video.
Don't shoot! Ha! Only kidding, kids. But why is it that when she shoots towards me, her gun goes that way? Whoa! I couldn't stop a speeding train. Let's find out why. I'm only joking. I'm not really under the sea, but this guy is. So why does that mean he has to wear one of those? how exactly do we get a mirror image?
So that's all a bit of fun and games, but now we get down to the serious business of actually producing the content for our video. Now, the easiest way to produce content is actually while you're in class delivering your lessons. You're a teacher, you're already a performer, you're already telling a story about whatever scientific topic you're covering. Why not film what you're actually doing and just make that available to kids? Now, it might be you want to film an entire lesson and edit out little explanations you might do. It might be that you want to actually just film practicals, and that's something I do quite a lot. While I'm explaining and demonstrating a practical to the kids, I'll get one of the kids to actually film it, and then I can just use that with a little bit of annotation in order to provide a learning resource for absent kids or kids who will be doing that topic in the future.
You go in? Right, so today we're going to have a little look at how we test for the presence of hydrogen. I've got some hydrochloric acid in my test tube and a piece of magnesium ribbon there. I'm going to drop that in and you should be able to see. I'm going to introduce my splint into my test tube and hopefully that squeaky pop tells us there was hydrogen gas present.
The second way I like to produce content for my flip videos is by modelling. Now, obviously, I don't mean modelling on the catwalk, although I obviously do that as well. I mean by working the kid through, taking them through a piece of work and showing them how to complete it. Now, this is one of the easiest things to do. All you need to do is set your phone up on a clamp and stand or balance it on top of a stool. You can simply then complete a piece of work on the desk with your phone filming it. You can talk over it while you're completing the work, and at the end of it you've got a really useful resource that can be used again and again. If it's something that's going to take you a long time, you can set up your phone to do some stop motion. There's various apps you can use for that. I use iMotion HD, and what it will do is take a photo every few seconds, and that condenses down, for example, a long written quality communication answer might take me a few minutes to do. I can condense it down to 10 seconds and the kids can see exactly how to complete that piece of work. Speeding things up is good, but you can also get some pretty good effects from slowing things down. It gives you plenty of time to talk about the actual science that's behind your demonstration too. The last option I use for making my flipped video content is the one you probably most associate with flip learning videos. There's things like the Khan Academy and GCSEscience.com and that sort of thing, and that is the use of an interactive whiteboard app. So the two interactive whiteboard apps I want to look at are firstly Explain Everything, which is probably one of the most popular interactive whiteboard apps. This is the little app icon here, and with an interactive whiteboard app you can record anything that's on the screen of your iPad. So Explain Everything's one, and the one that I'm using currently is called Know Your Teach. And like I say, anything that happens on your screen of your iPad is recorded. So I can add images and text like this, I can underline pieces of writing, it's obviously recording my voice at the same time, I can highlight things, I can move objects around the screen. Anything that happens gets recorded. And here we can see how I just made that last little sequence of the video. I'm just rearranging my little Pep Talk logo there, and I'm using the toolbars just to import various media that I've already got stored on my iPad. And of course the best thing about using an iPad or another tablet for this sort of thing is that you can get all your resources in one place. You can save images from your camera roll or from the internet to import directly in. You can edit them in there. You haven't got to be saving things about or emailing things to yourself or passing them about. I can just put every single thing I want straight into the video, and everything's contained on the one device there. So I'm just adding the bits and bobs in. I'm going to add in some text that I've previously produced, and I'm just going to, you can see that although that's not exactly what I want, I can now just edit and I can crop the image to exactly the size I want. I can also get rid of the background colour there to make it transparent so it's not going to overlap on other parts of my video. And obviously all the way through this I'm just going to be recording. Once the slide is set up, I'm going to just record exactly what I'm talking about. So what I like to do as well to sort of make it look a little bit more dynamic is I'm just going to cover up everything I've done there, okay, which is obviously cover up the box. I'm going to bring my logo back to the front again. I'm going to get rid of the black line around that box, so now it looks as if I've already got a blank screen. But now when I start recording the actual video, what we'll see is I can highlight the box, and obviously what's being recorded is in the white space there, so as I drag this down, that's just going to appear like you saw in the video just now.
So now I'm just working through the stages I've got planned for this particular slide, reading from my script and just talking about all the individual things I want to talk about that are already concealed behind my white panel. So let's just speed this up so we can see the whole thing. Here I've got just a little screenshot from a Explain Everything video, which is another useful feature is you can actually annotate live websites. So here I'm just getting up the BBC Bitesize website, and I can talk students through finding particular resources or how to access them, or bring useful links to their attention. And of course the good thing about both the Nomia and the Explain Everything is you can save any videos you make directly back to your camera roll for use in whatever editing software you want to use, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video.
So that's the various types of resources that I prepare and put into my flipped videos. And the important thing is you don't want to make it too professional. You're not Pixar. It doesn't matter if you've got a few conversational pauses and you stutter and you get a few of the words wrong, because that's what they're used to. They're used to you talking. You need to keep it real for them because that's the way they're used to you teaching them. And if you're like that on the video, then they're going to engage with it a lot more. Next time, we're going to look at how we can actually edit these various things together to produce our final flip video before we move on to looking at how we're going to share those with the actual pupils. If you've got any questions about what we've seen so far, don't hesitate to tweet me at Mr_Pepperell or leave a comment down below in the comment section. And all that's left to say is thanks for stopping by.